Hi everyone, here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9.
A local church is doing what they can to give people some shelter from the cold. I'm Zach Dodge with the story.
Plus, virtual learning during a pandemic continues through the days when students can't go to school because of winter weather.
Multiple deaths and dozens of injuries after a massive pileup on a Texas highway. I'm Jeff Paul in Los Angeles. I've got the details coming up.
Doug Heddy has weather. Jacob Leonard has sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan. I'll be bitterly cold temperatures getting even more dangerous. Meteorologist Doug Heddy joins us now with our first look at the forecast. Doug.
Yeah, it's cold outside. We really didn't go anywhere for us today. Only a high temp of 17 degrees during the afternoon. We're going to drop into the single digits tonight, but on top of that, it's not real windy, but we have a light north wind at about 10 to 15, but when you're this cold, it gives you very low wind chill. So we're going to have wind chill sitting -5 to about -10 throughout the overnight hours. That's why we got a wind chill advisory in effect through the overnight hours. We do have still some light flurries across the region. This is not going to amount to anything tonight, but there are still some light flurries which are flying. But look at our temps. We're sitting mainly into the mid-teens. We'll drop to about 7 or 8 degrees a little bit later on tonight. Also some snow chances in the forecast. We'll talk about that here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thanks so much. Well, an area church is doing what it can to help those less fortunate in this wintry weather. KOM Zach Dodge has what they're doing and how they could use more help from the community.
Carterville resident Cheyenne Brooke is passionate about helping the less fortunate.
I love this community. I adore this community. So anything that I can help to enhance it or, give better opportunities, that's what I'm here for.
That's why she was one of the first to step up for a pretty important project at her church.
Ever since the weather turned crazy and it started icing, we opened our church as a warming center for while we're here.
Carterville First Baptist Church is offering a warm place out of the cold for the homeless or anyone that needs a reprieve from the bone-chilling temps, complete with snacks, a warm coffee, and a blanket they can take with them. The goal is to fill a gap in the community where there's not many places doing the same.
That's another reason why we decided to open that up here, is like Webb City and Carterville and Oronogo, Carthage. Yeah, we don't really have much.
We just want them to know this is a safe place. There's no judgment here. They're welcome to come here. We're not going to ask questions.
But right now, they can only have it open from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. because they only have 3 volunteers. So they're looking for more like Cheyenne who are willing to help.
I think we could have it open longer if we had actual people to be here to man it, because we each have things. We have certain programs that we run, and we have things we have to do in the afternoons. So if we had people that could be here to help run it, it would probably be easier to keep it open a little longer through the day.
Our whole goal is just to care about people, and this is a small way to do it, just opening our doors, turning the heat up, and inviting people in.
Church is also accepting donations of blankets, hygiene products, and snacks. If you want to be a volunteer at the warming station, we have information on how to get involved on our website. See it right there, KOAMnewsnow.com. Students in the Diamond School District of Missouri have been still going to school regardless of some snow days or ice days the past few days. It's virtually thanks to Google Classroom. Kids go online 2 or 3 hours a day to get academic work done. In addition to that, the PE teacher jots down a physical activity the kids can do, and the kids then send back a video of them actually doing that activity.
We're getting assignments in. Obviously, once this is all done, we'll kind of look at our processes, look at the work we got back or the work that maybe we didn't get back, and see, how productive the students have been.
As far as I can see, it's a really good situation. It's a really good mechanism that we have put in place, or program is a better way to say it, a good program that we have going to where it's really worth it.
Teachers say they are understanding if a student can't go online because of technical difficulties. At least 5 people are dead, dozens injured after a massive pileup on a highway in Fort Worth, Texas. Hours later, crews still working on removing the around 100 vehicles involved in this crash. Fox News correspondent Jeff Paul has more.
A massive pileup on an icy Texas highway Thursday leads to as many as 100 cars crashing. The pileup killed multiple people and left dozens more injured. Firefighters worked to clear the damage, going from car to car, trying to free trapped drivers. Authorities closed the freeway for several hours to remove vehicles one by one.
There's heavy damage to a lot of these vehicles up there. It's going to also take moving some of these vehicles to clear each and every one of those vehicles. So it's going to be a long process.
The incident took place near downtown Fort Worth this morning. Police say overnight sleet made for dangerous driving conditions, forcing crews to use sand and salt to melt the ice. And farther south, more than 24 cars were involved in a pileup in Austin, Texas. Icy conditions are also being blamed for that crash. Officials telling people to stay off the roads.
This weather has not changed, and I don't think it's going to change in the next days. Stay safe and keep your distance. Slow down, please.
The icy weather just one of several winter storms impacting the country. Washington State and Oregon are bracing for periods of snow and freezing rain through Saturday.
We're down kind of in a low area, so we figured there's one way out, and if it gets slippery, we may be stuck. So we figure we might as well have some food and something to keep us going.
The National Weather Service says Portland and Seattle could get some of the heaviest snow they've seen in years. In Los Angeles, Jeff Paul, Fox News.
Parsons, Kansas police are searching for a homicide suspect. They say that suspect is 29-year-old Malcolm Odom from Parsons. Police say Odom shot and killed 22-year-old Levi Kendricks earlier this morning. The Labette County Sheriff's Office is assisting in the investigation. Joplin City Council will soon hear a proposed investment idea from the redevelopment of the Olivia building. By Coda REI LLC out of Colorado is considering buying and developing the property in Joplin, which was recently, of course, damaged right there in a fire resulted in the roof collapsing. The company is asking the city for an investment agreement of up to $250,000. The agreement will be discussed at next Tuesday's Joplin City Council meeting. The Senate impeachment trial for former President Trump continued today with more from the House impeachment managers. They're arguing the trial is not about removal from office, but about making sure something like the Capitol attack can't ever happen again. Fox's Lauren Blanchard explains from Washington.
The House impeachment managers have wrapped up their opening arguments that the former president knew what he was doing and attempted to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power.
Good luck in your deliberations.
The Democratic House managers have rested their case. They say former President Trump did too little, too late on January 6th, endangering the lives of lawmakers, the former vice president, and Capitol Police, and that Mr. Trump had a long history of inflammatory rhetoric which led to the insurrection.
This was not a hidden crime. The president told them to be there.
They say Mr. Trump showed no remorse and remains a danger to the democracy.
Impeachment is not to punish, but to prevent. We are not here to punish Donald Trump. We are here to prevent the seeds of hatred that he planted.
For many Democrats, it's an open and shut case.
What is an impeachable offense? What is a crime against the Constitution, if not what President Trump did?
But for Republicans, it's a tall order to get at least 17 to cross the aisle needed for a conviction. On Friday, the former president's defense team will begin their opening arguments. They say they will show the hypocrisy of Democrats and that Mr. Trump was well within his First Amendment right to question the validity of the election.
He's condemned the people involved, he's condemned the violence itself, and obviously is quite offended at trying to be tied into it.
An advisor to the former president says the defense team will only need one day to make their case. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor one of our four state heroes. Joshua Eads has served in the U.S. Army ever since 2003, spending time in Baghdad. We are proud to thank Specialist Joshua Eads. He's a native of Coffeyville, Kansas, and also tonight's four-state hero. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. Pitt later in sports, Pitt State men trying to keep their winning streak alive against third-ranked Northwest Missouri State.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a cold, nasty day once again for us today. We're kind of spitting snow and temperatures really not going anywhere. And actually, it's going to get a little bit worse as we go through the next several days. So what you see on your screen, that is a QR code. So if you grab your smartphone, this will pick up for Apple or Android, but you can download our Skywatch weather app using this QR code. It's really pretty simple to do. And on the app, you get videos, updates, all kinds of tools. Even wherever you are across the whole United States, you'll get the weather of where your phone is at. But it's super easy. If you just open your camera and put it right on top of the QR code, it will download that app onto your phone, which you'll definitely want as the weather is going to be kind of crazy as we go through the next few days. First off, I mean, look outside right now. It's in the teens. It's 15 in Joplin, 17 Oswego, 13 in Iola, and we are going to eventually drop all the way down into the single digits later on tonight. But there's a north wind at about 5 to 15. So with it, it gives us wind chill factors right now anywhere from 0 to about 5. Eventually, these are going to be about -5 to -10 by morning. But we aren't alone. Everybody's cold. Arctic air mass, our first Arctic air mass we've had all year. You can see really 2/3 of the country is under it across 2/3 of the country, which is kind of crazy. And the Arctic air is really going to stick around for quite some time. Wind chill advisories for us tonight into tomorrow morning just due to that light north wind. So dangerously cold outside. Don't forget about the pets, and they want to be inside too. We have a little bit of spitting snow. It's not going to accumulate to anything, but we are going to get some light flurries as we go through the rest of the overnight hours, and then I think most of this will cut off, and it looks at least a little bit better for us tomorrow. But if we go out to the west, here's our next storm system, the Pacific Northwest. That system will start to affect us Saturday night and into Sunday. Then the other key aspect to this is, see that little spin near Winnipeg, southern parts of Canada? That is the polar vortex. That's what's causing the Arctic air. And those two combined, that's going to give us much better chances for snow. First off, wind chills tonight, -5, -10, maybe even a little bit colder. And even tomorrow, the wind chills are going to be in the single digits throughout the day. We will see the clouds try to break up a little bit for us tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually get a little bit of sunshine, which would be kind of nice, but our temperature is still dangerously cold. 14 by noon, a high temp of only 18 degrees. A weak wave passes to our north tomorrow night. With it, we could get some light snow or flurries. If we had any accumulations, it looks like about a dusting, but something we want to watch tomorrow night into Saturday morning, and then mostly cloudy skies on Saturday. Then it gets interesting. Here comes wave number 1. A band of light snow late Saturday night into Sunday morning, which will most likely cause accumulations. When you're this cold, we're going to be in the single digits. Our ratio, our liquid to snow ratio is so high, it doesn't take that much moisture to produce accumulating snow. So we get a band of snow as we go through Sunday morning, may taper off a little bit late Sunday, and then a second band comes in Sunday night and into Monday. And those two combined could produce a decent amount of snow. So something we want to watch. I'm going to keep the amounts very conservative right now. We're going to put us in like a 3 to 7 inch range just due to this system being still a few days away, and we're on the northern edge of the system, so it could shift a little bit, but I think there's a better potential that the accumulation goes up instead of goes down. So something we want to watch closely. All right, 18 for us tomorrow, 17 Saturday, only 9 on Valentine's Day with the snow, and then President's Day, a high temp of only 6 degrees, which is kind of crazy. And then chances for snow again on Wednesday and Thursday. I know I went over on time there, fine, Jordan, so I'll give it back to you on my second.
You're fine, man. I know there's a lot to go over. I was going to say, it's perspective, I know, but you go outside and it's cold right now. You know? Yeah. And the thing is going to get even colder.
9 on Sunday.
Yeah. Crazy. All right, Doug, we'll see you in a little bit. Thanks so much.
All righty.
Coming up, more vaccine distribution.
Health officials say they're picking up the pace of COVID-19 vaccinations across the country. I'm Jonathan Seri in Atlanta. I'll have details coming up.
Jasper County Health Department is reporting 4 new deaths related to COVID-19. Officials say the patients were 3 males, 1 each in his 60s, 70s, and 80s, also a female in her 70s. This brings the total deaths in Jasper County to 133. Demand for the coronavirus vaccine is leading to critical shortages in some areas, but millions of Americans still say they don't trust the science. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Siri has more from Atlanta.
Across the country, folks are lining up for the COVID vaccine. The CDC says more than 10 million Americans have been fully vaccinated, with over 50 million doses distributed, averaging about 1.5 million shots a day. But so far, only 3% of the population is covered, far short of the 70 to 85% needed for herd immunity. And some local officials are complaining about severe shortages, especially in communities of color.
We began the new year with hope and optimism thanks to the COVID vaccine, but have been challenged recently due to the slow speed at which vaccines are being administered.
But federal health officials say even if more doses were available, they're still working on winning over a skeptical public, with a new Associated Press poll showing about a third of Americans do not plan on being vaccinated.
I just want to wait and see what happens with it.
The concern initially for me was just the rapidity with which it had been developed.
Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, Democratic lawmakers say they're getting close to an agreement on a $1.9 trillion stimulus bill. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says the average family of 4 stands to get about $8,200 of direct relief in the new package.
We're far from out of the woods. Without robust action, the recovery is going to be long and painful.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Thursday she's hoping to get a final vote on the stimulus bill by the end of the month. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Earlier we mentioned that police in Parsons, Kansas were looking for 29-year-old Malcolm Odom in connection to a murder that happened earlier today. We just received word that police in Parsons captured Odom, and he is now in police custody. Just ahead, another controversy over the national anthem.
The Dallas Mavericks resume playing the national anthem after facing a big backlash. I'm Casey Stiegel outside the American Airlines Center in Dallas. I've got the latest coming up.
Warehouse.
Dallas Mavericks are facing backlash, this after choosing not to play the national anthem before games. The team walking back that decision, however, yesterday. Fox News correspondent Casey Stiegel has more.
The Dallas Mavericks reversed course Wednesday night and played the national anthem for the first time all season. The move coming after owner Mark Cuban confirmed the team had not been playing the song before games. The NBA getting involved, saying all teams would play the anthem in keeping with, quote, long-standing league policy. Cuban addressed the controversy yesterday, saying the team never made a final decision to stop the tradition.
We have no problem playing the national anthem. The real issue is how do you express the voices of those who feel the anthem doesn't represent them.
The Mavericks welcomed back fans to the American Airlines Center on Monday. Some 1,500 vaccinated essential workers were in the stands for Wednesday's game, with mixed reaction to Cuban's initial decision.
I think that it's important to address what is, of course, tradition, but on top of that, also listen to how we can improve.
It's tradition. Where I feel like it's something that I grew up anytime I went to a game.
The controversy also making its way to the White House. Press Secretary Jen Psaki saying she believes President Biden respects peaceful protests at sporting events.
Part of pride in our country means recognizing moments where we as a country haven't lived up to our highest ideals.
Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick says he wants to introduce a bill that would require the national anthem be played at all events that accept public funding. That's the latest outside the American Airlines Center in Dallas. Casey Stiegel, Fox News.
After the break, going to check out a centuries-old burial site found by construction crews in Peru.
Own vehicles.
Construction workers in northern Peru stumbled upon an ancient burial site as they installed gas pipes near a city. The grave, containing the skeletal remains of one individual and 3 small vessels, dates back to a culture that occupied the region before the Incan Empire took over 500 years ago. The remains will now be taken to a museum where they're going to be analyzed by archaeologists, of course, to determine the characteristics of the individual, including their diet and how they died. That's one of the many cool things about archaeology, I think, is finding out what people ate many, many, many years ago. Cool stuff. All right, 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
The head of the Jasper County Health Department has an idea on when more first rounds of the COVID-19 vaccine will be available. Details are coming up.
The vaccine rollout continues, but will enough people get the vaccine to help end the pandemic? I'm Jackie Ibanez with a look at why some Americans are saying no to the shots, coming up.
The Country Experience.
According to Missouri's COVID-19 vaccination database, 8.3%. 8.3% of Jasper County has been vaccinated against the coronavirus. KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke to the head of the Jasper County Health Department to learn how vaccinations are going and what we can expect in the coming weeks.
The head of the Jasper County Health Department is happy that more than 120,000 county residents have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. He says the county has a long way to go, but is optimistic vaccination location options will soon expand.
It's my understanding that Walmart's recently announced that they will begin offering vaccinations, and some of the federal resources, I believe, are being sent out to more of the local pharmacies.
Jasper County Health Department Administrator Tony Moore knows that there's no shortage of county residents that want the COVID-19 vaccine and encourages them to sign up on the state's new COVID-19 vaccine navigator.
When we have a clinic, we will list it on that navigator, and anybody that's on that navigator will be notified.
Moore says that right now the county is mostly focusing on getting patients their second doses of the vaccine because the county has not received a new round of first doses recently, but he expects that to change the week after next. The community clinic of Southwest Missouri has gotten about 350 first shots into their patients so far, and their executive director says it's gone smoothly even during this rough weather.
We had kind of a small clinic because of the weather, and we called patients, and we had 20 people within, who said, I'll be there within minutes. We're ready to be there, even with the roads bad.
And the community clinic of Southwest Missouri says their patients will start getting that second shot in about a week and a half. In Jasper County, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
If you'd like to register with Missouri's new vaccine navigator, you can find a link to it in this story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. With Valentine's Day fast approaching this weekend, couples everywhere are going to be opening their hearts to one another, but one area couple is sharing the story of both of them getting a life-saving heart procedure over the past 8 months. Charles and Lorena Sweeney got married more than 50 years ago, but in June, Lorena needed a transcatheter aortic valve replacement. Then in October, so did Charles. Freeman Health System performed both surgeries and says the procedure is done while the heart remains pumping, eliminating the need for a heart-lung machine. Lorena says she and Charles, look at them, back to their old selves.
I feel great. I still work usually one day a week. I play the piano and organ at the church and teach a Sunday school lesson, and I'm very active.
Success stories where people are unable to walk and then suddenly they're back their 2-mile walk, or they're out mowing their grass. I mean, it's very gratifying.
Congratulations, you two. February is also American Heart Month, a time when all people can focus on their cardiovascular health. During the pandemic, people started staying home for dinner, more of that, and charcuterie boards have grown in popularity as a result. Now there's a business in Joplin which makes the boards. Look at that, looks pretty good, including a special one for Valentine's Day. The owners of 417 Foodie say all of their boards are designed for take-home style ordering and contain meats, cheeses, fruits, and honey, among other things. Fears surrounding COVID-19 vaccinations could prevent the country from wiping out the pandemic, officials say, as experts say there's currently not enough people willing to get vaccinated. Fox News correspondent Jackie Ibanez is taking a look at new research revealing what's causing this hesitation.
A new Associated Press NORC poll finds 67% of Americans say they will get a coronavirus vaccine. But health officials are calling other results from the recent survey disturbing, with 1 in 3 Americans saying they, quote, definitely or probably won't get the COVID-19 vaccine, citing concerns the shot will produce horrible side effects, adding they don't trust the government's involvement.
I think it was personal fear,
and probably lack of trust.
According to the AP, people who were more inclined to be skeptics include those without a college education, blacks, and Republicans.
We all have a greater duty than to just ourselves.
Officials say more needs to be done to increase knowledge about vaccines, squash myths, and calm people's nerves.
How are we going to get our people to trust Dr. Fauci and the people that we know are the experts, apply data to their decision rather than intuition?
But skepticism isn't stopping states from creating more opportunities for people to get vaccinated. New mass vaccination sites in New York and California just opened, with 3 more in Texas by the end of the month. But in the dead of winter, even those who want to get vaccinated say the process to do so can be risky.
I don't think people 75 years and older should be out in 30-degree weather, first of all. I think that's ridiculous.
So far, around 3% of the country has been fully vaccinated. Dr. Anthony Fauci says at least 70% must be vaccinated in order to help put a stop to the pandemic. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
A bit later, another reminder about one of life's certainties.
Tax season is just around the corner. I'm Kevin Cork in Washington with more on how the pandemic could impact how much you owe and how much more you just may get back. That story's coming up.
Well, of course, it was cold and nasty for us today. All week long, we've had the freezing drizzle and the very light snow in the Arctic air. And this is actually the first week that we've had any Arctic air this entire winter. Even though we've had a lot of little bouts of snow, even though we haven't had more than about an inch at a time, we've had quite a few little tiny weather events, but we just haven't had the Arctic air. And once you get the Arctic air, it's very hard to get rid of it. And that's what we are seeing this week and continuing into next week as well. All right, check it outside. It's cold. Most of us are sitting into the mid-teens right now, and we have a light north wind, so that is making it feel colder than what it actually is. So we have wind chill factors. You can see -1 in Fort Scott, -1 in Pittsburgh, and these are going to continue to drop for us during the overnight hours. But look at all the Arctic air across the central, northern parts of the plains, all the way down. Dallas is at 28, which is super cold for them. Wind chill advisory for us as we go through the overnight hours tonight into tomorrow morning with wind chills at -5 to -10 by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. Also, still a little bit of snow spitting out there. It's not going to amount to anything, but we are seeing a little bit of light snow, and we'll continue to see that through the night. And then I think most of that's going to be out of here by tomorrow morning. Next storm system out across the Pacific Northwest. That will start to affect us Saturday night and into Sunday morning. First off, wind chills. I think about -5, -10, maybe even -15 tomorrow morning. So dangerously cold. If you're going to be outside, make sure you bundle up. But wind chills stay kind of cold. I mean, stay in the single digits as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow. I do think we'll see a little bit of sunshine. So a cold start, 8 to 10 degrees. Then we should warm up to about 18. That's all we're going to get. 14 by noon. High temp of 18 degrees. Watch the wave to our north tomorrow night. That storm system is going to produce some very light snow near Kansas City, but I do think we'll get some light snow with it, kind of similar to what we saw today, where it just kind of spits, but we could get a dusting out of it. This would be tomorrow night into Saturday morning, and then I think Saturday afternoon is okay. It's going to just be cold, but here comes chances for snow. This is a stronger storm system, 2 waves. First one, Sunday morning, a band of light snow through most of the day, where we could get 1 to maybe 3 inches out of this band on Valentine's Day. Second band comes in late Sunday night into Monday morning, and this could also give us 1, 2, 3 inches of snow, and even the potential for even some higher amounts. So I would say right now we're kind of in that 3 to 7 inch category, but that's definitely being conservative. So something we'll watch over the next couple days. 18 tomorrow, 17 Saturday, a high temp on Valentine's Day of 9 degrees.
Give me a ballpark number again, Doug Eddy, of how long it's been since it was really, really, really cold, like below zero-ish type stuff.
We haven't had it in probably 2 or 3 years. So it's been a while.
It has. I'm not looking forward to it. Doug, thanks so much. Coming up in sports, Pitt State men aim to knock off one of the best teams in the country. Plus, the Pittsburgh girls hosting a top 10 matchup with Labette County. Jacob Leonard joins us with that and more next.
of the best girls basketball teams in southeast Kansas square off in a top 10 battle tonight. The Pittsburgh Purple Dragons hit the floor against SEK rival Labette County. Now, Pittsburgh is ranked 5th in Class 5A in the state. Labette County is number 7 in 4A. First quarter, pass to Claire Carnahan under the net. Grizzlies up by 8. Pitt responds, Jacqueline Hall in the corner, knocking down the 3. Dragons, though, down 5 after 1. To the second quarter now, Shelby Wilson, open on the right side. She knocks it down. Game tied at 16. Then Hall to Natalie Talent. She will hit the 3. Grizzlies, though, holding on to a 1-point lead at half. Third quarter, Anna Dean takes the pass in the paint, gets it to go. Labette has pushed the lead back to 7. The fourth quarter, pass to Madison Brandon, top of the key. She knocks in the 3. She had a game-high 14. Labette County gets the big win tonight, 50-36.
You know, their demeanor is good. They're pretty resilient kids, and you know they're very unselfish, and they play well together. So that's the key there. You know, we've canceled, we've rescheduled. You know, through the whole season, it's just been up and down, and you know the kids are pretty resilient at this point.
Well, that's not the only big girls game tonight in southeast Kansas. The Frontenac Raiders host the Girard Trojans this evening. Now, both of these teams have been on a roll to start the year. Girard is 10-2. Frontenac 9-1 on a 5-game winning streak. First quarter, Abby Butcher straight to the rim. Frontenac up 2 after the first. Girard grabs the lead in the second. Faith Poland, 3 from the right side. Trojans go to half with a 26-25 lead. To the third, tie ball game. Michaela Osmus connects from deep. Girard gets the lead to 3 going to the fourth. Now, under a minute left here, still a 3-point game. Heather Arnett, she had 22. It's now a 1-point game. Under 10 seconds left, Frontenac down 2 with a chance to win, but check out Poland coming up with the big steal. She had 18 in this one. Girard wins a good one tonight, 68-64.
Obviously, they're a good team. I saw that, you know, one of the players was looking down to the block, and I knew that I needed to get in front of that ball, take it, seal the game. So it felt good to kind of get in front of that and seal for the win.
It's really fun to get together, you know, once or twice a year and just have that slugfest. And you know, each and every time we do it, it doesn't matter what the record is, it always ends up that way, really, really close, and somebody making a play at the end of the game.
The Pittsburgh State men are one of the hottest teams in the MIAA right now, winning 5 straight coming into the night. Now, if they want to get to 6, they got to be at their best this evening, hitting the road to face Northwest Missouri State. And Northwest is in first place in the MIAA. They're 15-1, ranked number 3 in the nation. Tonight, PSU not able to get it done, 87-75. On the women's side, Julia Johnson gets career-high 23 points. And Gorillas get the split 79-50. Missouri Southern Lions also in action tonight on the road against Missouri Western. Southern women fall this evening 78-54. Carly Turnbull leads the way with 13. As for the men, big number. They win 103-94. Cam Martin and Christian Bundy combined for 51 points for Southern. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news right after this.
Tax season kicks off tomorrow. Tax season kicks off tomorrow. But before the IRS starts processing your 2020 returns, the pandemic may qualify you for more money or have you facing fees you weren't expecting. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork has more on the do's and don'ts of doing taxes during these unprecedented times.
The pandemic has changed the way we go about our daily lives, and now it's changing the way we do our taxes. But don't fret. Financial experts are sharing the tricks of the trade for getting the most out of your returns and how to avoid any penalties. If you're one of the many Americans receiving unemployment, you may need to have some extra cash on hand heading into tax season.
Unemployment is taxable income, so people are given the option to have that withheld from their unemployment benefits, but in most cases people don't do that, but they will have to pay income tax on that.
Stimulus checks, on the other hand, are tax-free. For those wondering if you can get a tax write-off for working from home instead of at the office, well, experts say to beware. The criteria is very specific.
The home office deduction is really tricky. You can claim it if you are self-employed or a business owner, but it has to be very truly dedicated space. Your kitchen table where you also happen to eat dinner, or your bedroom where you also happen to sleep, those do not count.
The stock market has also attracted new investors over the course of the pandemic, and first-timers may not realize there are fees if you sold any of your stock during 2020.
Folks will have to pay taxes if they had gains or losses, if they had gains that occurred during that year.
Experts say many folks can also take advantage of the look back rule this year, giving Americans a chance to report their 2019 or 2020 incomes when filing to qualify for the highest benefits in earned income tax and child tax credits. In Washington, I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
Gonna check out some movies now available on DVD and on demand when we come back. New movies this week include critically acclaimed awards nominees and some comedies to bring home the hilarity. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Award season contenders lead the way, including Minari in theaters.
Essentially about the American dream. It's about a Korean-American family who moved to Arkansas in hopes of launching a business. I will warn you that by the time you get to the end of it, you're probably going to be crying because it's a very beautiful story about the perseverance of family and finding your family, in wherever you happen to be.
Judas and the Black Messiah is in theaters and HBO Max.
99% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is based on a true story. It's how the FBI offered this informant, William O'Neill, the opportunity to sort of get away from some petty crimes that he was making and infiltrate the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party to gather intelligence on its chairman, Fred Hampton.
I'm here because it used to be. Robin Wright introduces her directorial debut, Land, about a grieving woman who retreats to the wilderness.
It's sort of about escaping somewhere else to rediscover yourself.
It's been a weekend of horror. Bringing the laughs, the dark comedy caper Breaking News in Yuba County is in theaters and digital.
And then video on demand. Let's talk Barb and Star.
I'm Star, short for Starbra.
I'm going to tell you to watch the awards contenders because they're fantastic movies. But if I were to say a favorite movie that's coming out right now that I think we all really need, it would be Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
My new phone case. Kristen Wiig and Annie Momolo play the duo on vacation where hilarity and hijinks ensue.
This just feels like the making of a cult classic.
Hi! A quotable comedy to add to your Valentine's Day viewing. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you with video of stunning ice sculptures in China. Stunning, I agree. Take a look at that. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.